Ms. Donna?
I just want to say, regardless of the mayor's apology, I still need to address this issue. This latest example of ethical and legal conflicts of interest involving the city manager and the Oakley City Council really needs to be further addressed. I was shocked when I read that Mr. Montgomery had a $500,000 home loan forgiven by the council, especially in light of the fact that there are so many less fortunate Oakley residents who have been forced into foreclosure. Not only that, but I was astonished that Mr. Montgomery actually ghostwrote the agreement between himself and the council. The truth is out now, the cat's out of the bag, but there are still more questions that need to be answered about this. For example, questions of morality and the concerns of ethical and legal conflicts of interest. I read an article in Contra Costa Times written by Michael Borenstein, from which I quote here directly. The City Council agreed to the latest deal without consulting an outside advisor and after negotiating directly with Montgomery in closed session. That private gathering violated the state open meeting law because the council majority cannot legally negotiate compensation in private with an employee. To continue, Mr. Borenstein wrote, Michael Martello, a government attorney for 30 years and an expert on California conflict of law interest, says Montgomery's dual role negotiating with the council a major change to his home loan, benefiting him at the expense of the taxpayers he was supposed to be protecting, raises concerns of ethical and legal conflicts of interest. Bottom line is, you got busted, and there would have been no apology had it not been made public. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but only when you do this kind of activity behind closed doors.
Thank you, Ms. Donna. Mr. Montgomery, do you have something to say?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Perhaps related to that and making that even more clear, some of you may know earlier today I sent a letter to the City Council indicating that I'm not going to accept the new agreement, the new provisions to my employment agreement related to housing assistance. So that letter has been submitted, and I'll merely go back to the original loan. I think I'm screaming. I'll merely go back to the original loan that was created in 2005. There are clear, logical, and legal reasons for and justifications for the agreement. But in this climate and the negative spin that's been given, there's no way to explain those. There are far more important things to look into and to work on, and this was a distraction that was completely unnecessary. As far as I'm concerned, we're back to where we started and we move forward and again put this behind us and focus on what is important.
Keep going straight. You're got it. Good job.
Okay.
And your address?
I will only say, I will just say, I'm Jeff.
Thanks, sir.
All I really want to say, just set the record straight briefly, is I am the one, with help from my friends in getting the sidewalks put in, making Oakley ADA. I'm aware that people have taken some credit for it, but we're the ones that actually went through it and made it all happen. And you may refer to this earlier this year's article in the Brentwood Press. So basically, all I'm saying is we're the ones that put the hard work in, got the sidewalk put in my community. I can now walk to the store, and with Leanne's help, I've helped to make your site more ADA compliant. So I just want to set it right that we're taking the credit for the hard work that we have done to make Oakley more ADA friendly as time goes on. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for helping. So we will move on to Mr. John Labarge.
Well, I appreciate the fact that Mr. Montgomery went back on the offer. I don't believe that it was any of your intentions to go back on it had you not gotten caught. That's all I need to say. I think you guys did a good job.
Why does the City Council choose to reward City Manager Brian Montgomery for holding the taxpayers hostage by not paying his mortgage and using his position of power to renegotiate his deal at taxpayers' expense? Shouldn't he be an example and shouldn't you? I just looked up the definition of the words political corruption, and it says political corruption is the abuse of public power, office, or resources by elected government officials for personal gain. How does that definition not apply to this situation?